everyone just starts laughing at the same time. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of lukegtv, and I am your host, Luke G. Like I told you guys, I'm gonna keep making more storytime videos. It's my bread and butter. It's what I like to do, and it's what you guys want to see. The drama, it's all good and well, but it starts to take a toll on oneself. It becomes draining. It becomes negative, for lack of a better word. And I'm very happy to get back to storytelling, which is what I want to do. Hey, what's up, you guys? Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe if you're new, hit the notification bell for all so you can see all my dope content. All right, you guys, let's get into this episode. This story, you guys, we're going way back for this one. We're going back to 2009. Before I ever started doing opioids, before I ever started doing any of that other crazy stuff. So you gotta realize back then was a time when I was still moving a lot of green. I was still doing stuff like that. And you guys just realize when I say things that are kind of abbreviated, it's because of the YouTube algorithm. And I cannot get my videos flagged or demonetized. So just keep that in mind. So I was, moving. I was, making money, doing that kind of stuff in that kind of world. And I was also kind of getting into the club scene. Well, actually, I wouldn't even call it the club scene. It was more, I was getting into dubstep. This is when dubstep was like just taking off, we would go to these underground dubstep shows, and it'd be like in the warehouse district of Minneapolis, and no one would know. You would somehow have to know someone, and you would get a number to call, and it would be like a hotline. You would call that number let's say the show was on Saturday. You would call that number at 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. Saturday, and then it would give you an address, because these were unlicensed concerts pretty much, and they didn't ID you when you got in. Everyone there was just moving their jaw, and Molly was abundant, and yeah, let's just keep it at that. So I remember that night, it was me, my friend Bratter, my friend Mason Zerke. It might have been I think there was a couple other people there that night, and we were driving my car there that night, right? And I had already planned on drinking that night. So we had my friend as a sober cab, my friend Mason. Shout out Mason if you're watching the video. We had Mason as the sober cab. I got a 175 of whiskey before the show. Got a bunch of little tablets of, M, I'll just call it that. And I was popping those suckers like it was no tomorrow. I was doing that, I was drinking, we were basically pre-gaming at my house. Oh, this place was in Dinkytown in Minneapolis. And now you gotta realize Dinkytown is like a college, college campus area. It's the University of Minnesota. It's one of the biggest campuses, well, it is the biggest campus in the state of Minnesota. It was in a weird venue. It was not your typical place. The place was called Get Frosted, right? It was in this weird, almost kind of it was in a little garage type place. My memory's not really serving me correctly thinking about it, but I know it was in kind of a garage / coffee shop place. I know that sounds kind of weird. I can't exactly remember what the place was like, but whatever. What I do remember is when we showed up to this rave, there was a huge line out the door, and you saw girls in little Easter bunny costumes. You saw people dressed up as Yoda. You saw just crazy, girls with binkies in their mouths, and they're dressed with, dressing very skimpy. It was just a fun time. I love dubstep shows. It was a lot of energy. It was fun. I'm not like a huge dubstep enthusiast. I mean, I do listen to the music here and there, but I was more the person that was just there for the fun, there for the party. It's good. The music's good when you take your thing. And I gotta say that for YouTube, when you just put it in your imagination what we were taking, and we were abundantly taking those things. Anyways, we were at the rave, and I remember this line, like I said, it was out the frickin' door. There was probably probably a 30-person line. I had my 175 of Windsor right next to me, and I was drinking it as we were going in the line. So, needless to say, by the time we got into the actual concert, I was basically obliterated. I was basically already blacking out at that point. We go into the rave, we start dancing, we're having a good time. We get in there, we start roaming around, and I think one band played, we start dancing. I'm like, I'm feeling myself. I'm like, yeah, what's going on? What's up, guys? I'm talking to some girls, I'm taking some cigarette breaks every once in a while. Hey, you need a cigarette? Hey, you need a cigarette? Whatever. I'm just, single, ready to mingle, looking for some fun, And a couple more bands play, and then the third DJ comes on, and I start dancing once again. And by this time, it's very spotty memory, I don't remember anything. I very, very barely remember this, but I'm dancing, and there's a girl that seems to show some interest in me. So we're dancing, we're having fun, grinding on each other, and it's getting frisky. It's getting hot. We're getting hot and bothered up in this Get Frosted show, okay? And so we're doing our thing, and eventually it gets to kissing, it gets to groping, it gets to whatever. And then the DJ ends his set, and I go back to my friends, and I see a group of my friends, and they're all smiling. And I'm like, hey, what's up, guys? Yeah, having fun. What's up? What's going on? And they're all just like, I'm like, what's up? Hey, why aren't you guys talking right now? What's going on? They're like, Luke, do you know who you were just dancing with? And I was like, dude, yeah, wasn't she cute? Yeah, dude, she was, I know, bro, I'm lucky, right? Dude, that was a dude. I'm like, to be kidding me. I was like, nah, you got, good one, bro, good joke. You guys are funny. Good one, bro. Everyone's still just like, no, bro, we're not kidding. That was a dude. And everyone just starts laughing at the same time. I didn't find it that funny. And you guys got to realize as well, I was 19 at the time. My friends meant everything. I already was self-conscious already, and that just threw me over the edge, because there had been some things in the that had happened in the past that were embarrassing to me, and I hated being put on the spot and being embarrassed like that. I was so freaking embarrassed. I was the laughing stock. I had a sober cab home, and I go up to Mason, and I'm like, dude, you're giving me my keys, I'm leaving. And because no one wanted, at first I asked them if they wanted to leave. No one wanted to leave, because it was still, these things usually go to 4 or 5 in the morning. It was 1 o'clock probably by then. And no one wanted to leave. So I'm like, dude, give me my keys. And it took me a lot to get my keys back, but he eventually did. I had to head back to Minnetonka, and I was on the border of St. Paul and Minneapolis. So I get in my keys. I should not have been driving, you guys. This was probably one of the dumbest times. Well, either that or my third DUI was one of the dumbest times I've ever had on the road. So basically, I get in my car and I try to get back to Minnetonka. So somewhere along the lines, I take the wrong way and I end up in some rural town. You know, I end up in like a rural kind of part of Minnesota, Anoka, Coon Rapids area. You know, like I have no idea where I'm going. And these are the days before GPS, this was when you had to use MapQuest to get to places. And you would literally, if you were going somewhere, you would go to mapquest.com. You would hope that the place you were at had a printer, so you could just print the MapQuest directions. It would say, take a right, take a left, take a up, take a up. And you would hope someone had MapQuest, and you would hope someone had a printer. I had neither of those things at this time, so I was just going based on memory. And as you guys know, I already had that 175 of whiskey, so I had no recollection of anything despite directions from where I was. So somehow on the way from Minneapolis to Minnetonka, I end up in Anoka. And I remember just kind of like, you know, like veering back and forth, like just kind of like having no control. And like I remember wanting to pull over, but just at the same time like wanting to get back home. And then eventually the moment happens where the cherries flicker. I pull over to the side of the road and I admit defeat. So I get arrested. I had about 1.5 ounces on me of... Back then it was a lot bigger of a deal. So, but anyways, they bring me to Anoka. They bring me to the county jail. I get a book and release, and you know, I basically get let out the next day. I get a slap on the wrist, because back then DUIs were a slap on the wrist. But what I did not get a slap on the wrist for was that incident that happened when I was at the rave and I kissed the girl that was not a girl. And my friends never let that go. I still get comments about it from time to time to this day. And it was just overall a horrible experience. It was the beginning of a road to disaster. You guys, I really want to preface this story by saying, like, these stories are not cool. Like, I may laugh and joke about some of the things in these stories, but really, like, you know, most of my life, most of my 20s and my adult life and 30s has been a very sad existence. I only tell these stories because, you know, this is the reality of addiction, and this is the reality of someone who's lost in life, who doesn't know what to do, so they turn to these substances, so they turn to these things, you know. And if you can remove these things out of your life, it's gonna make life so much more simple. I know mentally sometimes you think like, well, I'd just be better off doing it, and what I'm telling you is that's not the truth. You're better off being patient and finding a different solution to your short-term problems, you guys. So, you guys, I really appreciate you guys watching the video. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe if you're new, hit the notification bell for all so you can see all my dope content. You guys, I am now a YouTube partner. So please, if you ever have the chance, watch my ads. It helps me out. I also have PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App. It's all lukegtv. If you can't afford it, please don't do it. But if you could, that would be great. What I would need more than anything, and which would be way better than money, is a new camera, because that is what's going to enable me to film more videos. But anyways, you guys, I'm Luke from lukegtv. You guys have a good and safe day, and I'm out. Peace.